Awesome. Hey, everybody. This is Island Talk with Nico Hulse, and sorry for the late start tonight. We were having some technical difficulties due to some unfortunate circumstances in my area, so we've been kind of working with Dan a bit to try and get everything up. There's been some massive windstorms in my area, as some of you might know from my tweets. So I have no internet or cable at the moment, so I couldn't host the show. So Dan is hosting everything, but we had some issues just getting everything set up. We're finally set up. We're finally ready to go. Dylan's gone tonight. He's probably going to jump in for a few minutes. He's probably going to jump on at the beginning of the show, so it's so damn late.
He'll probably be on time tonight because.
Ben is not here tonight as well. He should be joining us next week. And then we got our man Billy Garcia again.
How you guys doing?
Good, Billy. Tell us how you've been. You had a concert last week, yeah?
Yeah, sure did. My band played to a near sellout audience at Blackthorn 51 in Queens. We got to open for a legendary 80s band called Britney Fox. And we're about to hit the studio to record our second album.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Nice. And Dan, how you doing tonight?
I'm okay. I got like post-traumatic stress disorder now every time I have to host a podcast because it seems like I fuck everything up. It seems like every time we're like 30 minutes behind. So hopefully no more problems tonight. We just keep rolling.
Yeah, let's hope not. And hopefully we can get everything all set and have internet hosting, especially because there's a Survivor next Wednesday. So that should be exciting. So hopefully we'll be able to get up for that, and that should be some fun power rankings for you guys too. Predicting 2 boots instead of 1. Dylan can get double fucked. Anyways, let's just jump into the episode. Kelly Wigglesworth goes home. I kind of felt like throughout the episode, at least, they were kind of putting it out there. Because, I mean, Kelly's been invisible. It's been seeming like since the first episode, other than Jeff, like, randomly telling her that she got beat by Jervis. She's been kind of invisible, so I kind of felt early on in the episode just the constant, like, hey, Wigglesworth is a threat, Wigglesworth is a threat. They were kind of setting it up for her to go home. Like, I don't think there was a single point in the episode where I thought she wasn't going home. I don't know if I was just paying too much attention to the edit, and then I just kind of thought that, and it just happened to happen. But I don't know. I felt like the editors really kind of made it almost obvious. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of the move? And what do you think about just Wigglesworth overall as a game? I know we only saw like 5 confessionals from her this season, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I think Wigglesworth was kind of playing the Tina Wesson game, which is not very visually stunning for a TV show, but it's a lot of relationships, a lot of putting your arm around this person at a certain moment when they're more receptive to sort of a physical manipulation. I think she did a lot of subtle things that just it's not spectacular to look at, but you're playing against multi-time players, second-time players that they're gonna pick up on it. It's not gonna slip by them like it would a first-timer. Mm-hmm. So I think they just felt she was a threat in that she was too likable and she didn't burn any bridges, she didn't step on any toes, and she was good at the whole honeying up to people, like being nice and being friendly and manipulating people in that way. Very subtle.
Yeah, Dan, what was your take on Kelly? I know initially you picked her as your winner pick.
She was my winner pick going in. I regretted it a little bit because I knew based on what we saw, just like lack of evidence of what she was doing out there, she probably wasn't going to win the game. But I'm glad that she built up enough reverence, it seemed. People were taking her game seriously. They respected it. I thought, like, as a viewer, you didn't really see a lot of it, so you thought really that she wasn't doing a whole lot. But that's just, like, because it's not really that appealing. You want to see people scheming and plotting, talking behind people's backs, talking about moves, finding idols. You don't care about like Wigglesworth like bonding with Tasha over like a story about their like mothers or something. I don't know. Like no one wants to watch that. I don't know what she's doing out there, but I kind of like Billy's comparison to like a Tina Wesson like game, and maybe like in old school days we would have saw a lot more of her. But now, you know, with the evolution of the game and where it's at, viewers kind of want to see more strategy, more things like that, geared towards kind of like the cutthroat nature of Survivor than the emotional connectiveness of the game, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I kind of like that. I kind of like that comparison you made too. I think Tina is a little more aggressive. I think she's got a little more fire in her.
Yeah,
I do.
slightly.
But in terms of style of gameplay, I mean, I agree. I think she was. To me, Tina's biggest strength, and especially in Australia, was her ability to bond with people. And I mean, that ended up winning the game for her because she just built better relationships. And I agree. I think Kelly was playing very similar.
Yeah, to get Kelly's game on screen, you would have to see like a lot of moments of like, let's say, when it's raining and somebody's complaining about how terrible it is, then you would see Kelly like put their arm around him and say and whisper something like, "You're strong. Don't let this beat you." Stuff like that. Like it's not spectacular. It's so subtle, but to see it on screen, you would have to see like other people talking about stuff that's pretty irrelevant to the actual storyline. So that's why we didn't get to see it a whole lot. In old school Survivor, we did see a lot of that. In old school Survivor, the scheming would happen so fast that to fill an episode, you would have to see like something else, see them conversate about other stuff, personal things, and the constant whining of how it sucks to starve and how it sucks to be weather beaten, how it sucks to be bug eaten, how it sucks not to get any sleep. Then you would see like somebody comfort all these people that are complaining, and that's kind of like Wigglesworth's game. Is that she's everybody's best buddy, she's everybody's sister, she's everybody's aunt. That. In fact, that was brought up in this last episode. How there was a bond that he didn't know. Steven didn't know how to describe it. She was like they're like siblings or aunt nephew relationship. He didn't know how to describe it. He just knew that she was working him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with Joe. Yeah, and and I think I don't think. Like I said, we didn't see a lot from Kelly, and I think obviously the biggest reason is that she ended up not playing a huge factor in the overall, arc of the story. I think if she makes a deep run in the game, we're seeing more from her. But I'll give the producers a lot. Everything from what I've seen from her, she seems to be very quiet, very to herself. So I wouldn't be surprised if she wasn't giving the producers a lot. And so they couldn't really show a lot because she wasn't giving a lot. Unlike we would have made like Final 5, Final 4, Final 6. It went a little bit deeper in the game. But I also just wouldn't be surprised if, she just didn't give them a lot. And so she just didn't get featured a lot, especially since, she goes out, at 11 now? Is that 11?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we're at Final 10 now, so.
Yeah, I would say, just as an insider, just letting everybody know that for your game to manifest itself on screen, when you're in your confessional, you have to explain the details of your game. If you don't do that in the confessionals, then you don't narrate your own story. There's nobody to narrate your story. Why would somebody else narrate you for you? They're gonna narrate themselves. So I think it was just Wigglesworth didn't do a whole lot of explaining in the confessionals, so they didn't have the confessionals to narrate what she was doing. They didn't have the details. So that's probably why she didn't get much of an edit. And I think that happens a lot when you get second chance players or even third chance. Like, what was her, the Black Widow, the third time she played?
Parvati? Yeah.
No, not Parvati. The original Black Widow.
Jerry.
Jerry Manthe, yeah. The third time she played, she barely spoke, and she was worried about how she would be portrayed. So she didn't do a whole lot as far as narrating her own game. She watched what she said, and maybe we got a little bit of that with Kelly Wigglesworth.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, really quick, hey, everyone out there on Twitter, I know YouTube comments still aren't working. I'm still working on trying to figure that out. I contacted some kind of tech guy, so I'm going to see if he can figure it out, because there should be no issues. But
we need a full-time tech intern here. That's the next hire.
Because Dylan just joined in.
What's up?
Yeah, so for whatever reason, the YouTube comments just stopped working one day, and nothing changed in the settings. But for now, just keep send us your questions on Twitter at IslandTalkWNH. Send us questions about the episode. If you got questions for Billy, shoot them at us. If you got questions for us, shoot them at us. And if you just got feedback, shoot it at us at IslandTalkWNH, or you can get us individually too. Hey Dylan, you on your break at Target?
I am. I'm on my break. Just want to preface this by saying the views I express here are my own and only my own, and they do not present the views of Target or its subsidiary corporations. So that's my views.
Fair enough. So Dylan, since we have you here, I just want to ask you, what did you think of the episode last night?
It was pretty good.
We just talked about Kelly. That's what we talked about, her going home, and just kind of her game in general.
You talk about her sexy back tattoo?
We weren't, but I figured we'd leave that for until you got on the show. I wanted to save that for you.
I'll have to keep it. I'll have to get my non-PC comments out before anyone else comes in the break room. So, I liked the episode. Finally, we get to see people like playing a bold game, making some big moves. Dan, that's an example of a big move last night. That's what a big move is. What they did. Okay, so just so you know, just so you're aware what an example of one to refer back to in the future. But
okay, I still beat you in the power rankings.
Those don't matter.
Shots fired.
I've only lost once all season long, Dylan. Come on, man.
Where did you have Wiggles? 5th?
Pardon? Yeah. I had her 5th.
3rd, 5th, all the same. We both thought
lost.
We both thought she was going to be safe, but this is the problem. I had one issue with her going home, and that was like they talk about Kelly Wigglesworth is a huge threat, and she's such a great social player. We didn't see any of that in the edit the last couple of weeks, so I do take a little bit of issue with them kind of just introducing that out of the blue and expecting us just to go along with it. Like they should have given us more. They should have given us more of that earlier.
Yeah, her game was too subtle. It wasn't her social threat wasn't, hey, you, me, and this other person vote out so and so. Her social threat was being the sister, the aunt, it's very old school. It's very, very much has to do with relationships. And Stephen Fishback voicing that about her and Joe was kind of the setup for her for those comments that she's a threat.
Yeah, I wish we would have seen her more of her interacting with people, not necessarily people talking about her being a threat, but just her interacting and kind of seeing those relationships before this episode. I would have liked to have seen that more.
And one of my things that I was wondering, because we saw Steven really initiating the whole Kelly Wigglesworth vote out, and I'm wondering if it's because he's been wanting to target Joe, and Joe's won 3 immunities in a row. I mean, the dude is out of this world. And so I'm wondering if he knows that Kelly is a loyal member to Joe. So I think he's taking a shot at Kelly to take a shot at Joe, because he can't vote Joe out because he keeps winning. So why not take out one of Joe's votes?
Definitely.
Weaken Joe, so when he does lose, because he will. I mean, I can't see the guy winning 10 in a row. I mean, he could. If anyone could, it'd be Joe. But I don't think it's going to happen. And so that at that time when he loses, it could be next week, because we got a double episode next week. If he loses, that's one episode. That's one vote where that's one less person he has on his side. So, she may not be like the big flashy vote off, but he's taking a shot at the other side, and he's taking a number away. Because now Joe's lost Savage and Kelly in back-to-back weeks. So
That's just devastating for him.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, on Twitter here, Aaron asked if I were if I were in Steven's shoes, would I have gone after Wigglesworth? If not, who would I have gone after? And I think Steven was on the right track. That Joe is definitely the huge threat, and if you can't take Joe because he won immunity, then you definitely want to take his right-hand man or right-hand woman in this case, in Kelly's Wigglesworth. So I absolutely would have done what Steven would have done. Thanks, Aaron, for the question.
yeah, for sure. I love Aaron. And I just wanted to say to Aaron and Josh, thank you for messaging me privately and just checking in on me, make sure I was okay with all the windstorms and stuff. So appreciate the love on Twitter.
Yeah, more than what me and Dylan did. So.
I'll say more than what we did.
Yeah, my own host didn't get raspberry, and if I was getting hit by a hurricane, but the fans were. So much love.
Hey,
to the fans.
it's very windy here in Minnesota as well. My picnic table blew over today, so thanks for the concern, Josh and Aaron, about me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, it's a little different. We're in a state of emergency. We've had multiple kills.
It's pretty much the same.
I don't know.
It's the same.
We've had 80, 85 mile an hour.
Wow.
It's been pretty bad. So I did want to shout out the love. And just say, like I said, I appreciate the talk on the fans. I know someone else was mentioned. I mean, Debbie Sapp too. She was shooting prayers my way. So appreciate the love from the fans. I just wanted to give them a shout out. So I appreciate that. But yeah, let's get back into it. And so we were talking about Kelly, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the facilitators. So we talked about it a little bit with Steven, but let's get into Steven's game and just Steven's night in general, because Steven had a big night. He gets the advantage in that challenge, and he facilitates the Kelly blindside, taking out one of Joe's votes. So what do you guys think of overall of the move that Steven made and kind of the position he's at? Where do you guys think he's at in this game now? Do you think he's going to be targeted now that he's got this, he's made a move? Or do you think he's kind of locked himself in really well? Because I really liked that he brought Jeremy and Spencer in with him, so he wasn't flipping by himself. So he has some accountability partners. But I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think about the move for Steven?
Big move. I like it. Spencer brought up some good counterpoints to flipping. And we'll see how it plays out. But I think right now they're going to be in a good. I think they're in a good situation because, like he said, there is voting blocks every week. There's a voting block you want to be a part of. And this week the voting block is going to be us and the 3 girls. Next week might not be the same. It might unite the 7 again and vote out Wentworth or whatever. So I think it's a good move. And in terms of his advantage, I think the advantage is really OP. It's a good advantage because you can negate. It's almost having two. It is having 2 votes, but also you can negate another one. So it's almost like having 3 essentially too. So.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's because we talked with Dan, because when we had Dan on, obviously Dan had the double vote last season. And we talked to him about it a little bit, and he said it's a huge vote, but you have to use it at the right time. And this one's even bigger because you get 2 votes, but you're also canceling out a vote. So this is, if used properly, and I think Steven's someone who could use it properly. He's really smart. So if he doesn't, have a panic attack with all the power and just completely mess it up, he's definitely smart enough to know, when the best time to use this is going to be. So I think it's in good hands.
Yeah, he's definitely got his head in the game. He's had it since the beginning. I think this move was necessary because you had the 3 witches on one side, and then you had this massive alliance on the other side, and then you had Jeremy and Steven and Spencer kind of in the middle. And if they had taken out the witches, or at least just one of the witches, basically they're locked in to the massive alliance, and they're the minority of that mass alliance. So they had in my opinion, they had really no choice. If they were playing to win, and that's what Steven's doing, is playing to win, they had no choice but to go with the witches coven and start targeting the Mass Alliance. And then when you get down to the last couple of the Mass Alliance where they're desperate, then you make a move after the Witch's Coven, unless you feel like there's someone in the Witch's Coven that's a goat, like let's say an Abby Maria, that you would keep.
And I will say I do not support the usage of the term witches coven. I'm against misogyny, and I feel that hashtag was a misogyny.
Dylan, you sexually objectify more people on this podcast than I do daily.
Two wrongs don't make a right in this world.
Okay,
I was gonna say, wasn't the first comment on when you came onto the podcast was let's talk about sexy ass back tattoo?
Yeah, it was.
Busted.
It busted.
All right.
But I agree with Billy. I feel like they have no choice here. Because you look at it, say they stick with the numbers, they take out one of the Witches Coven, and then Steven convinces those two to flip with him next week. It's a 5-5 tie at 10.
Exactly.
So you're forced into it. The reason I don't know, it leaves a sour taste in my mouth is I don't think the Witches Coven or whatever Dylan wants to call them, I don't think they have really any loyalty to Steven, Jeremy, and Spencer. And just because they worked with them for this vote, you hear them talking about blocks. It's very easy for those three women to go over to, say, the Kimmy, Tasha, and even though they didn't feel like they could trust them before, you never know how they feel now about Jeremy, Spencer, and Steven. Yeah. So you never know if the game can flip on you like that. But I guess in this spot, you got to take the risk because you don't really want to go 5-5.
I agree. I definitely agree. I think it puts Steven in a very good spot because if anything does shake up, it's going to be Spencer and Jeremy getting the attention and not him, I don't think. Like, even though, because he has a better relationship with Kelly, Sierra, and Abby. He's the one that kind of like, hey, I want to save you guys. Like, he was like the ringleader, and they'll want, if they're gonna flip and go with Kimmy and Tasha or whatever, they're not gonna vote off Steven, I don't think, first.
Now, let me ask you guys this. We don't know if Jeremy and Steven, who have been very, very tight in the last few episodes, have compared notes. What if we don't know is that Jeremy has shared his big secret that he has 2 idols, and Steven has shared his big secret that he has a double vote. I mean, think about that all being played in one shot. How much power that is. Like, you basically flip a game completely upside down with all those things in play in one shot. So right. I think if they compared notes, they might have both felt like they could afford the risk because technically it's not a risk when you have that much power within the game.
Or at least, I mean, even if they didn't, because I mean, I feel like if they had that conversation, they'd show it. But I mean, even if they haven't compared notes, they both know that they have huge advantages in the game, especially after Jeremy finds that second idol, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But that gives Jeremy a little more kahunas. He feels a little more confident that he can make a move like this because he's got a little extra backup. And same with Steven. So even if they're not comparing notes, they both know that they have a little bit of flexibility and some protection. And I think it gives them a little more incentive to make a move, kind of like Tony did when he was in Cagayan. He'd make these big ballsy moves because he had the protection.
Well, everybody knows that Steven has the advantage.
Right.
Remember, everybody knows that Steven has the advantage.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't know what it
is. Right.
But they know he has it. So it's an easy sell for Steven.
That's the problem with the advantage over the idol, though, is you can keep an idol secret if you want to. With these advantages so far, there hasn't really been a way to get them without anyone knowing you have it, right? So Steven's got to tread this line now of downplaying how big of a threat this is. Or he could lie. I think I saw a joke on Twitter about him saying it's the Tyler Perry idol. Just saying he's got one of those. So you never know, but I think the best way is to try to downplay this advantage and maybe not even say it has something to do with the votes. Maybe like make up a lie about being at an advantage at an immunity challenge of your choosing. I don't know, something like that. Yeah. Something less harmless that doesn't affect the actual voting process because I think if anyone thinks you have something like that, like a vote doubler or the vote theft that he does have, you're going to run into being targeted for that sole reason. no matter how well of a game you've played otherwise, I think.
Yeah, go ahead. I have a question on that on Twitter.
I was just gonna say real quick that it's an advantage if you tell the one person. It's a disadvantage if you tell beyond the one person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had a question from Josh on Twitter.
Josh!
Yeah, I know. He came back this week. Left us for a week. Glad to see you back, Josh. So the question from Josh is it possible that the reason for Steven's dodo edit earlier in this season is because he's going to end up misplaying the advantage?
Good one.
Or even on top of that, get blindsided without using the advantage because he thinks he doesn't need it. I added that last part in, but I wouldn't be shocked because he did start with a little bit of a dodo edit, and he's come on strong. I think really since Varner left, he's been one of the main narrators of the season. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think Steven is polarizing because of his time as a podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the dodo edit we got in the beginning was just sort of the setup that this is second chances. So just because he was he's coming in with a lot of the same ideas as the last time he played and showing how it won't work in Modern Survivor. Now we're seeing an evolution, and he's constantly the one making the comment. It's an evolution. Things have changed. It's an evolution. So I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing from the dodo to the strategist because he's adapting to the evolution that they're putting over in every episode now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's talking so much now about like the evolution of the game. They mentioned like old school and new school, and Steven talks about wanting to change a lot, or kind of you see that regret when he was crying in that one scene, and I feel like I agree.
Like every episode.
Billy. No, he's not crying. Jeremy's cried more than Steven now, right?
He's crying. He's crying next week, so he's crying next week.
Oh, come on, man. It's raining out there, buddy.
It's like a hurricane.
I'd be fine.
Whatever.
Billy, did you have any like terrible weather at all when you were out there, or was it okay?
Yeah, every night it was terrible weather.
Okay,
but
I couldn't remember.
Plus, even though we played technically in summer, we played south of the equator, so it was winter for us. So the temperature would drop around 40, 45. So it would be freezing rain. It wouldn't just be rain. It would be freezing rain.
Oh.
Yeah, it's easy to say, it's not a big deal, and I would be fine. But you have to remember, think about in this term. The Chinese used to do this torture where they would lay you down and only drop a single drop of water on your forehead at a time.
Yeah,
and over a period of hours, it would drive you mad. Now imagine that, but it's a television reality show, and we're all get to watch and see somebody get tortured that way. And it's not just a single drop of water. You're getting buckets of water poured on you nonstop for hours and hours every day for 39 days. And you have to think because you're playing the social game. So and
it's
you're starving.
in Cambodia in the summer, and it's hot. It's muggy. Cambodia is north of the border, and they filmed this in, June? So not only is it pouring rain, it's probably 70, 80 degrees, muggy.
Yeah.
It's probably hotter than that. Plus you have the greenhouse effect of the vegetation around you.
It's probably hella hot.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys already talked about the reward yet. I watched it with a group of people last night. I said I would have destroyed the reward feast so no one gets it.
Why? Like in front of them? How are you destroying the reward? Like, are you coming in like pretending to trip over something and just falling onto it slapstick?
No, nothing like that. I would just straight up flip the table.
No, then that's very.
And I would say some people just want to see the world burn, and then I would say, and who's gonna vote out the guy who flipped the table over full of food? Like, I'm a goat then. But I'll use my talking skills to get to convince the jury to vote for me.
Yeah, I don't know, because
Oh, you're so full of shit.
All right, Billy.
scientist. What was her name? The nuclear scientist.
Tia?
Tia. Yeah, that was kind of her strategy.
Well,
And,
no, I want to
I didn't think it worked out for her either.
I want to role play this though, real quick. Billy, you're at a feast. You just won reward, and you're in the final 11. You haven't eaten for days, and you and Dylan go up to the table, and Dylan flips it and looks at you and says, "I just want to see some things burn."
No, the world burn. The world burn.
Oh,
How quickly do you murder him?
Yeah, are you keeping that guy around with you for another like 15 days? Or are you not voting him out the first chance you get?
I'll be honest with you. From being out there and being the guy that was the outsider.
Yeah.
I could tell you from personal experience that you don't have to punch a guy in the face to make life a living hell for a person on Survivor. Like he would not be able to sleep in a shelter. No fire for him, no food for him.
Yeah, I thought so.
And then we see the monsoon that's out there, so not being allowed to shelter would be a big deal. So
hey, I would also.
I guarantee you, I would make you quit within a few hours.
I don't know if you guys watched The Last Man on Earth, but they throw you in the stockade if you misbehave in that show. So
I would have
the Survivor stockade.
All right, but I would have pulled a Dr. Will and convinced them that we don't need the reward feast to feel good about ourselves.
Now we're
my stomach overrides
Will's level of gameplay.
Sorry,
I got the Dr. Will flow going, so
Dylan's ego is gonna get him voted off in the first 3 days.
This is true.
Worry about any of this.
This is true. I do have an ego problem.
My stomach overrides any strategy session that you might try to put out there. There's certain things that we survivors need, and if you take one away, it doesn't matter how much you say. Well, the numbers dictate this or that. You're out.
Yeah.
Dylan shows up on the first day and says, "Hey guys, I just want to let all of you know that I'm way better at you all than everything," and they're immediately all gonna hate him.
Yeah,
I'll take the villain edit. I'll take a villain edit.
You would replace Drew.
You'll have it'd be like a Zane episode.
Yeah, you'll have a Zane edit.
Yeah, he would replace Drew as the worst player ever with the most knuckleheaded move ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, are you talking about Drew Christie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's be fair.
Vote yourself out.
Drew Christie did say that Kelly Wentworth was incredibly dangerous and they needed to get her out, and he might not be entirely wrong.
Yeah, but this is a dude that threw a challenge to vote himself out. So he's forever he's forever the worst player of all time until the next person that does something stupid that magnitude. So that might happen though with Jeremy with 2 idols.
Yeah,
Jeremy, I would not want 2 idols.
Oh, I want that to happen so bad, just so Ben can be on the podcast next.
Well, no, you gotta get Gravedigger James on the podcast.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you think he's watching Survivor though? I don't know.
I don't know, but if he is right now, he's doing the wave, praying for somebody else to make the same knuckleheaded move and get voted out with 2 idols in their pocket.
I gotta peace out, guys.
All right, take care.
Hey, nice seeing you again, Billy. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, my pleasure, dude. Take care.
Just FYI, I probably in real life wouldn't flip the feast.
No.
All right.
We know, Dylan. We know you're all talk, Dylan.
I want you to flip the Target break room table right now and prove yourself, Dylan.
Do it.
All right. See you guys later. Have a good night.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So that was Dylan. All right. He's out. I did want to say Ben did tweet at us, and he said, where's it at? He said, "Tell Dylan and Dan no Jeremy hating on the show while I'm not there. I'll watch later." So he's all about the Jeremy edit. Before we get to Jeremy, and I guess we could jump into Jeremy. We'll talk about Joe, because I wanted to talk about Joe a little bit more. But I do have a couple things in here about Jeremy. We have one that's talking about, will Jeremy do a repeat of James Survivor China and get voted out with 2 idols? We have another one saying, are Jeremy and Steven the most powerful duo in this game because they both have advantages? And then Josh also comments saying, I'm also 100% sold on Jeremy being the winner this season. Billy, I believe that when you came on here earlier this season, I think you said that you had you had Jeremy as your winner pick. I think that was after week 3 or 4 when we had you on. I think it was week 3.
Was it Jeremy or was it Spencer?
I think you called Jeremy, at least on our show. I'm pretty sure you called Jeremy. I didn't get a chance to go back and rewatch.
All right.
But I believe you picked Jeremy, and I mean, he's looking really good right now.
He is looking real good, and to answer those questions on Twitter, they are the most powerful duo because for sure Jeremy knows that Steven has an advantage, and Steven is sharp enough to probably figure out by observing Jeremy that he has some sort of advantage, possibly an idol. But I'm sure if he wasn't told, he doesn't know he has 2 idols. But still, he would probably figure out he has at least 1 idol. So
right.
Yeah, they would be, and more so if they compare notes. If they compare notes and tell each other what they have, then for sure they're the most powerful duel in the game. Having said that, Jeremy wins if the 3 dudes go to the end. If it's Steven, Jeremy, and Spencer sitting at the end, Jeremy wins for sure. If Steven decides that Jeremy is too powerful and takes him out of, let's say, the final 4, then Steven wins if he sits with the Witch's Coven. Spencer wins if he figures out, Jeremy and Steven are too powerful, as too much of a power couple, and takes them out at the final 5. Gets with the Witch's Coven. So we got a scenario for any of those 3 guys to win, and that's what I'm looking at. We're seeing the edit of one of those 3 guys are going to win.
And I mean, I agree for the most part. I mean, I think Kelly Wentworth would have an argument. She made that big flashy move last week. I think out of the 3 girls, she'd probably be the only one that would have an argument to win. And I think if Joe somehow made it to the finals, he's so likable, and he'd have to win like 8-9 immunities to get there. So I mean,
well, let me ask you both you guys this: if Joe gets to the end, and let's say the power couple of the power duo of Steven and Jeremy make it to the end, don't you think that Joe gets Ozzy'd, where he'll get some votes, but the strategy
because Ozzy only lost. Ozzy only lost by the 1 vote, but I think Joe would win because I mean I think at that point Joe would be kind of like the underdog.
But
because,
in this situation, like how many immunity challenges has Joe won? Because like in my mind, I think he's got to win out. Like the first time Joe's vulnerable, I think they're shooting at him. So like if he wins out and gets to the end, that'd be
10 immunity challenges in a row.
Yeah, like I'm not even a big fan of rewarding like giving the winner just because they were like physically dominant, but I don't know, never losing an immunity challenge like that. I don't think will ever be done. And if it is done, like I think you got to reward it with $1 million.
And even further, I mean, the guy never went to tribal before merge because every tribe he was on in the pre-merge won immunity. He's been on almost every single reward. I mean, this dude is literally winning everything.
Yeah, he would be. He would be the only guy to ever win every immunity challenge from day 1 all the way down to day 38.
I mean,
so he would be.
That's a freaking story.
Yeah, that's a story. But if he sit next to if he sits next to Jeremy and Fishback, that would we might see the first tie ever.
Well, that would be probably the most competitive final 3 we've ever gotten. Like I think that's what the season's shaping up for too. I think we're getting it a really competitive, if not final 3, at least it will be between 2 people. You might get that third kind of goat on the cusp that doesn't really have a chance, but I think this is going to come down. It's not going to be decided like before final tribal council like it sometimes is. Like last season, you kind of knew Mike was probably going to pull that out. You kind of knew Tony was going to beat Wu. I think you knew Natalie was probably going to pull that out, that final tribal out. Maybe you didn't think it was going to be a big of a blowout that it was. But, you know, I think this season, though, you're going to see a really tight one. So, you know, Joe, what are the chances that Joe can win out? Like, is it better than, like, 25% now? I don't know.
I mean,
tough.
he's definitely going to be the favorite, and I mean, just about any challenge. Because I mean, he's killing it in balance challenges. You know, he's killing it in endurance challenges. You know, he's strong, so you know he's going to be good at each strength challenge. And I know they try to curb these individual immunity challenges to not give like any kind of one person an advantage for the most part. You know, I mean, there always could be like some kind of balance challenge where he could lose to a girl. Because I mean, Abby gave him a run for his money. You know, Keith's been giving him a run for his money. Spencer's been in it with him every time. So, I mean, I think there's still competition. So, I mean, if anyone could do it, I think he could do it. But I think the chances are, I mean,
I think what would trip him up.
I'm not going to bank on it.
Yeah, what would trip him up would be either a puzzle challenge.
Yeah. He's pretty good at puzzles, though. I mean, he's not. Yeah, but he's not bad.
You know, I would give like Steven and Spencer the edge over him in the puzzle, or a labyrinth challenge, which a lot of labyrinth challenges is just dumb blind luck.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like that challenge where they have to go out and remember numbers or something and like come back. You know, that I remember Steven did that in his season. He remembered them all in one go and did it in like half the time. Yeah. So yeah, I think Billy's right. If there's something that it's like 50 mental, 50 physical, or more like a crap shoot, you never know. But Joe's looking pretty like Mike Tyson right now. He's got that aura about him. Like if you think about it, he's competed in how many? 7 individual immunity challenges in the course of his Survivor career and lost one of them.
He's got 6 because he won the first 2 last. He won the first 2 and then got voted out, and then he's won.
Okay, sorry.
He's 5 for 6.
5 for 6. So like even like his aura, like he seems almost unbeatable. You know it's probably gonna happen. Like it's statistically unlikely for it to happen that he goes on this run, but you know it just like feels like when's this guy gonna lose? Who's gonna beat him? It's got like that's what I'm like tuning in for these challenges now.
Yeah,
who's gonna beat Joe?
I would feel terrible if he, you know, especially since we started the merge early this season. I would feel terrible if Joe makes it to like the final 4 and you know like Ozzy in South Pacific and Terry Deeds in Panama loses that last one and then doesn't get into the finals. Like that would be like a kick in the nuts.
That's brutal. Yeah, it'd be brutal.
Yeah, it would be even more so for Joe because he had to win more of them than the other 2.
Right. I mean, because I mean, at this point, he'd have to win 10 individual immunities because he's still got to win 7 more because, like, he's already won 3 and we're only at final 10.
Right.
You know, we've got 7 more individual immunities to go. So he's got to win 7 more individual immunity challenges. You know, there's not going to be probably any more idols in play. Probably not. Unless Jeremy has to play one.
I don't think so. Even then, I think this is it. The 2 that he has is it.
So, I mean, unless he plays 2 next week, like unless he plays one in back-to-back tribals, they'd probably throw one in. But yeah, I just don't think he's. I like Joe, but I just don't think he's gonna. I think the minute he loses the challenges, I mean, I think he's gonna know it too. Like he loses, he knows he's gonna be gone.
Yeah, for sure. I think this week was a message.
Yeah. I think we got a message from Josh saying the thing about Joe is that he's good at about almost every category of challenges. He's even good at puzzles. Because I was going to say, I mean, he's not bad at puzzles. He's went in to do some puzzles. He's been good. I mean, that was Ozzy's biggest downfall, was he wasn't great at the puzzles. He was pretty much ridiculous at everything else. But the puzzles were his downfall.
Nobody was a better swimmer in Survivor history than Ozzy.
Yeah.
When it came to climbing, nobody was better at climbing than Ozzy. His balance, he could hold his own against just about anybody, with the exception of maybe Natalie Tenorelli, who beat Boston Rob in 2 balance challenges. But yeah, like Ozzy was great at everything except when it came to stuff that involved the brain. Not that I'm taking a jab at the guy.
Yeah.
But at the time,
I would say, to be fair, I don't know how much brain.
At the time, I considered him like the Michael Jordan of Survivor. And so I used to go around saying, hey, yeah, I got beat, but I got beat by like one of the best ever. So, yeah. So, but Joe has a chance here that if he does do the unlikely, people are going to call him the best challenge monster of all time for like maybe the rest of Survivor history.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, who else is going to come in and win 10 challenges in a row? I mean,
and then every challenge of a season, every immunity challenge of a season, starting from the very first team immunity challenge. That's ridiculous.
And then you factor in all the rewards and everything.
Yeah, he hasn't lost a reward challenge yet either. Since
he might.
Since he's gotten to the merge, I mean, he's won all the merge reward challenges. So since the merge, he's been perfect in all the challenges.
Eating.
Yeah, like he's got an unreal winning percentage if you want to like go through Survivor challenge winning percentages. But yeah, it's unreal. So he's like the John Madden right now of immunity challenges. Obscure NFL reference.
Yeah, would you say that he's shaking off the Malcolm 2.0 reputation that he had the first go around?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think he's better. Well, I think he's better at challenges than Malcolm. I think Malcolm had a better mind for strategy than Joe. But I mean, I think in terms of challenges, I think Joe's just on another level. Another one from Josh, really quick. We'll wrap up the Joe talk. Just saying, I think Joe makes at least a family visit because he was talking about making the family visit in the premiere episode. And I kind of forgot about that, but I do remember him saying he was so upset that he got voted off because he wanted to, he wanted his dad to come out. And they featured that in his talks. I mean, I don't know if they're just trying to build him up for a deep run. So, I mean, I do hope he does make the family visit, assuming that they do it. But I do want to jump in. So we started talking about Jeremy a little bit. We kind of switched over to Joe, which is fine because I was going to talk about Joe after that. But let's kind of swing back to Jeremy now a little bit. So we were talking about, the two idols. Is he gonna make the big blunder? Is he the winner at it? Because we were talking about who could beat him. So, I mean, at this point, would you guys say that Jeremy at this point is the odds-on favorite?
I'd say at this point, the Jeremy even power duo is the odds-on favorite. As for which of the two will win, I think there's still some more resume building to be done. It's kind of hard to say one guy over the other right now, especially since it was Steven who spearheaded the last move that we just saw. So it's really hard to pinpoint one guy over the other. I would definitely love to see, like I was saying earlier in this podcast, I would love to see a move where Steven uses his advantage and Jeremy uses both of his idols all in one shot to like take over the game. Like the essentially like let's say they get to a 3-on-3 against the Witch's Coven. Throw all of it out there. You can't really use it beyond that anyways. Throw it all out there. Throw the two idols and then take the vote away from one of the Witch's Coven. To me, that would be a winning move. Whomever would come up with that idea would be the winner.
For me, though...
Yeah, and I mean...
sorry, Nico. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, if they're... say if they want to stick with those girls, and so they vote off, like, Keith, Joe, Tasha, Kimmy as the next four, and they go to a final six of those three guys versus those three gals. I mean, if they decide to play the vote thing, they don't even need the idols. Jeremy could just say, "Hey, I'm going to keep these idols." He's still not telling anybody. Steven plays the advantage. Takes one of their votes away, puts one on. And then they have the majority, and then Jeremy just plays idols the next 2 weeks to save himself into the final three. And Jeremy walks into the final three.
Can you play the idol on the final four? I don't think you can. I think it's at the final five is the last opportunity. So
maybe. So maybe he plays one at 5, just to be safe.
Right.
And then plays one at 4. But I mean, I don't think he'd dump him up. I mean, I think it would be incredible if he did something like that, I don't think it would happen at 6 because I mean, at least in that scenario, just because I think at that point.
Well, no, he can't play it at 4 though, so he'd have to play
right.
one
Right.
or
So
dump
he'd have to do it like it.
or dump both of
play
them
it at
at 5. Yeah, he could dump both of them at 5 if he wanted to. I don't.
Play one earlier, but.
Do you think though, like, is Steven going to go to the final, like, say 5 with Jeremy, or like, is it in Steven's head that he has to take a shot at Jeremy before that point too? So like, and if he does, is Jeremy like better off keeping this idol stuff a secret? Like, keep it to himself because he's got to think like Steven probably sees like. He's mentioned Golden Boy before, like seeing JT and Joe, but he's got to see a little bit of JT and Jeremy as well. Just being more of like the personable, likable of the two pair, more socially outgoing, seemingly having more people's backs in the game, and like I think like Jeremy has more of that JT vibe. So I don't know. For me, I think Jeremy, before I call him a winner, he is definitely in the driver's seat, but I don't know if there's a front runner because the numbers, I think, aren't as set in stone like the Witchens Coven with these 3 guys. I think we're going to see them shift a little bit still, and I don't know if we're going to see a couple more shifts before we get like the final like this side's going at it with this side. I think you're going to see a couple more shifts in the game, and then it'll be a little more concrete after that double episode. But yeah, if it gets down to them in the Wishens Coven, Jeremy, I think that's his best bet is to ride this 6 out right now because that's a 6. I think he's got a good chance of winning those challenges as well, which I think you need to set we don't talk about it a lot, but I think if you're looking at your final 5 configurations or even your final 6, you want to be able to like beat those people or have your best chance of beating those people because you never know what's going to happen and how people are perceiving your game and when they're going to want to cut you. So giving yourself the best percentage to win a challenge, I think Jeremy's doing that well because he's setting himself up to be with Steven. And now Spencer, I think Spencer's the risk he's running.
Right. The one thing I do want to say, and the one thing I'm worried about, because, like I said earlier in the show, next week is going to be a 2-hour, so we're going to get 2 votes. And I've noticed at least, the last couple of seasons it hasn't been as much. But I know in previous seasons, they'll do these double boot episodes, and they're kind of be like, we just need to get these 2 votes out of the way before something exciting happens again. So my fear is that, the Sevens is going to get back together and they're just going to pick off like Kelly and Sierra or Abby or something, pick off 2 of the 3 of the witches, and instead of just dragging it out, they're just going to put it in the one night and give them a couple, knock a couple of them out just so they can move on to the action again. I could just be reading too much into it.
Yeah, I think in my opinion differs slightly. I agree that it's going to be like two obvious vote outs, but I think the foreshadowing has been Joe's not going to win all the way across. It's just not likely. So he's going to lose, and it's going to be an obvious vote out, and following him will be somebody like a Kimmy or something like that. It's not going to be like a big whoop-de-doo once they go.
Yeah, I know. I think I want to say it was Josh again, and Josh had said something about. He said he thinks Joe will win the first immunity next week and be safe for the first half, and so they'll pick off like one of the girls or the witches or something, and then he didn't say that part. I threw that part in there. But then losing the next one, Joe going home in the back half.
Yeah, I think it'll be. I don't know this because I don't follow spoilers at all. But it's just in my opinion,
we try to avoid that.
Yeah, same here. But in my opinion, if I had to make a prediction, I would say it'd be Kimmy and Joe next week. Just because Kimmy got mentioned a lot, and then they didn't go after her, so it's kind of like a setup that Kelly was the one to go against because of her relationship with Joe. But Kimmy's not far behind.
Yeah, I think if we're seeing a bunch of Kimmy in the first 10 minutes next week, I think we know that you're probably right. Because other than that Monica episode, we really haven't. When Monica went home, we haven't really seen a lot of Kimmy. So I can't imagine she has too much longer for the game.
Besides that time she like dumped that fish in the fire she was trying to cook. That's the only other time. Keith got pissed at her,
But
The only
she
other
did-
time
she
we've
did
seen her.
title the episode. She did title the episode last night. She did come up with, shout out. She did get that under credit.
Did anyone get Steven's Macbeth reference? Did anyone read Macbeth?
Oh yeah. I tweeted that a couple times.
I
Yeah.
would say I read it in high school, but I don't remember
But
it.
I don't know, like, does Steven want to be the guy murdering people in the night? That book or that play doesn't end well for Macbeth. Like, I want to be Macduff, right? You want to be Macduff in that one, because he rides in and he cuts that motherfucker's head right off. Like, so yeah, you gotta be Macduff. Don't be Macbeth, Steven.
Oh man.
So, what? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Steven, I think that whole setup that you just mentioned might be the setup that Jeremy's Macduff.
Oh
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe if we and Jeremy probably fits the Macduff like mold better than anyone out there, like kind of like a warrior, strong, like leader type person. So yeah. And yeah, if you want to pick the Macbeth so far this season, it's probably Steven. Like, he's scheming the most behind people's back within his alliance for what we're seeing. So yeah, maybe this is
quoting
kind of
poetry every week.
Yeah, so maybe this is foreshadowing, and we are getting an old Shakespearean tragedy here, and it will all go over my head like it did in high school. So
Exactly. So I don't know how well you guys remember Samuel Del Sur. I've watched it probably 3 times because I watched it on the initial, and then I always do a rewatch of the season before the finale. And then I watched it this summer with a buddy of mine because I was trying to catch him up on some seasons before this season, trying to familiarize him with some players. So what I was going to say is anyone else upset that Keith didn't get to go in the Spa Food Award? Like, I was so bummed that Keith didn't get to go talk about how much he loves spa food, and because that was hilarious when he was back in San Juan del Sur, because I think he went with Missy and Baylor, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
and he's just pounding the spa. He's like, I don't love this rabbit food, the spa food, but I hope the boys back home don't see this.
Yeah,
A real opportunity missed there.
Yeah, Keith is good for those Southern one-liner jokes. He's he's good for that, which makes me believe that he's gonna go by the wayside, and not really have an impact on the game itself. We haven't seen really.
He's probably gonna go. I'm thinking he's probably gonna float to like 5-6. I think they're giving him his moments because he goes deep. But, I don't think he's going to have a huge impact on the overall game. So I think he'll probably just get, maybe win an immunity. Maybe he'll win the immunity that Joe loses next week. Maybe it'll be another ball challenge. And,
and more ball jokes.
Exactly. His ball handling challenges will finally shine to the surface. His age will outdo Joe's and send Joe home. And that'll be a shining moment. And, he'll go home later because he's a threat. But
he'll go home because he's
likable.
He's a pawn. He sticks around because he's got a vote. He'll give you his vote. Once you don't need his vote, you take him out, and that's unfortunate. It gets you deep in the game, but it doesn't win you the game.
Yeah. So I love Keith. I know some people were throwing some hate at Keith for making it along with Wu, but I love Keith. He's probably one of my favorite players just in terms of a character because the dude's hilarious. And he just has so much fun out there. I love watching the guys that are just out there having the time of their life.
Yeah, for sure.
Having fun with it. And,
Keith does credit to the whole Southern Hillbilly thing that Big Tom started way back in Africa.
Yeah,
he's definitely a credit to that.
Absolutely.
No, that's the closest we've gotten to Big Tom, I think, is Keith. That's the closest we'll probably ever get to a character as funny and I think Big Tom maybe had more wits about him than Keith does. But,
I think he definitely had more of a game mind.
just like that charming, like country bumpkin type personality that you want to root for. And even though they sometimes, like, I know Big Tom
Put their foot in
sometimes
their mouth.
didn't say the most like politically correct things, or like was the nicest guy. And I think Keith, with the spitting and stuff. That's why we like them, though. They're kind of rough around the edges, but they got those like lovable, goofy traits to them that we let it slide.
Yeah.
It's like, it's Keith.
I still think my favorite Big Tom moments is just Tom in the auction during Africa. When he splits the one with Ethan, and he gets the bacon. He's like, he's a Jew. He can't eat bacon or something. Whatever he said.
Yeah.
And he's drunk off his ass, so he's like wobbling around trying to like not spill his food. And Tom is great. Big Tom is fantastic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Great. He's a great character. But,
one of my favorites. And when he and Lex are together, it's magic.
Yep. That was a good duo. I'd love to see both of those guys play again, but I don't know if we'll ever see that.
Maybe when they do a season where it's
that'd be nice.
Maybe when they do a season where it's like 100 survivors all show up, and then like only the top 20 of those survivors will make it, and there's some sort of way to eliminate them. Like maybe some humongous challenge where the first 10 women on a mat make it, and everybody else is out.
That would be cool, but brutal.
If that's the situation, I don't think Big Tom's going to be in there. I mean, he was a big boy before, and he's probably got another 10 years on him. I don't know how much he's going to be dragging his ass on a beach trying to beat.
It depends on what the challenge is, because if you have to catch a goat and show up to the mat with a goat, he'll be the first one there.
Yeah, Big Tom's going to be first place.
It's a goat wrestling comp.
Oh man, but
we got a couple questions from Josh. Josh has been shooting us a lot of questions.
Oh wow!
And I got one from Aaron as well. So we'll do Josh's really quick, and then we'll get to Aaron.
Right.
So the first one was, I think Steven would be willing to go. This is more of a statement. I think Steven would be willing to go to the end of Jeremy if he feels like he's built a big enough resume for himself. So that was just kind of a statement he was talking about when we were talking about, who trying to figure out who would go to the final three.
I agree. I think the final three is going to be Jeremy, Steven, and Spencer. So I agree.
Yeah, I wouldn't be out, unless whoever they go to the final four with wins immunity, and they have to clip one. But I definitely wouldn't be surprised. So his question though is, obviously we have 3 people on the jury right now. But his question was, who's most likely to give an epic jury speech? My bet is on Cass. I'd say, at this point, I'd probably agree. I'd say it's Cass. I think depending on who's in the final 3, I think if Steven's in the final 3, I would love to watch Savage's speech towards Fishback in the final 3.
I think you might see just that. I think you might see Savage rip apart Steven and Cass rip apart Spencer, because they had a rivalry before. She saved his ass, and he didn't return the favor. So,
and Jeremy Lottie freaking daw to the winnings as the other 2 are getting blasted.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, I agree with both of you guys, Josh and you, Niko, that we're going to see multiple epic speeches.
You mean, and I think with some of the personalities, in the game right now, people like Abby Maria, like Tasha, like Kimmy, I think Kelly Wentworth can be very biting, especially Sierra. I mean, there's some people that are still in the game that could go home that could give some really, really nasty words.
Abby Maria would probably be one.
I wouldn't be, yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if we see, another. I mean, these all-star juries tend to be very brutal. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a vicious final tribal council, at the end of the season, especially depending on who's there. And obviously it depends on how whoever goes home gets there. But some of these all-star juries, they're famous for their bitterness. You got especially the all-stars jury with Tom and Lex and Kathy and Alicia.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
was an
one
epic
was
one.
brutal. Heroes and Villains was pretty bad on dumping on Russell and Parvati too, but
Yeah.
I mean, so there's definitely some serious, groundwork laid out for, some pretty nasty final tribals in these All-Star seasons. I mean, which makes great television. I'm like, part of you is like, it's a freaking game, quit being such whiny little
Bitches, go ahead,
bitches.
bitch.
But it's TV, it's good TV, and they're upset, It's $1 million game, and so I mean, part of you is like, it's a game, get over it, quit whining. But at the same time, they're there to make good TV. They're there to make good TV, so they're gonna milk it while they're there.
Well, Nico, before we go to the other question, let me ask you both this. Let me ask you both this. If instead of snuffing the torch, like Jeff Probst does traditionally, what if when you're eliminated you get kicked in the nuts? Would you think they have the right to be whiny bitches on the jury then? Because that's what it feels like when you get your sore stuff. You got kicked in the nuts.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I feel you. But speaking, and while we're talking
But
about,
wait, do you know you're getting kicked in the nuts before they kick you in the nuts? Like, is it like, hey, I know I'm getting voted out, and if I get voted out, they're gonna kick me in the nuts, or it's like that's a surprise all of a sudden. I'm suddenly kicked in the nuts.
Because when after it happens the first couple times, aren't you gonna kind of figure it out? And be like, fuck you, Jeff. I'm leaving. I'm going out the other door.
Yeah, why doesn't somebody say, you know what, you're not gonna touch my torch and just keep walking?
Yeah.
Same thing. It's production. You gotta stand there. You gotta take.
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, you gotta take your kick in the nuts like everybody else in Survivor history. Just stand there and take
mandatory kick in the nuts. All right.
Mandatory.
I was gonna say I could make like some sort of coconut cup here or something, but
it'll probably get split in half. Jeff looks like
I was thinking I'd probably do more damage to my genitalia by fashioning that.
And knowing that, Jeff would probably find out through production and wear like his steel toe boots that night.
Oh, for sure.
Match my junk.
Like, you think you're so smart, huh? But anyway, this conversation's making my stomach hurt. So,
what was the next question?
Let's jump into the other questions. The other one was from Aaron. We haven't touched on a lot of his questions, so I did want to throw this out. And so his question was, do you think we're gonna have a Survivor auction next week? And then Josh added on to it, maybe that's what they're drawing rocks for, something in the auction. So I don't know if Josh is trying to, like, if there was a rumor that there's going to be a rock draw.
It was in like that last 30, like when they show next week. And what it looked like to me is do you know when like they have immunity challenges and they ask if anybody wants to sit out and eat?
Yeah, eat or play. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I thought it was.
And they hold the rocks out and show it that way. That's what it looked like to me. But like, would they make a big deal out of it? Unless maybe the person sits out of it and then gets voted out. That'd probably be the only way we'd really care. So yeah, maybe that's what happens. If not, then it's got to be something. Oh, go ahead, Nico.
Or would it be really brutal? Because they'd be doing so many twists where they say, all right, we're going to give you 2 rocks, and we're going to compete in this challenge. And, the winner, if you can either decide to compete or not compete in this challenge, and then not tell them what the challenge is, and not tell them what the reward may or don't compete, and then whoever says they want to sit out gets, like, knocked out, and then the rest of them get to actually compete in the auction or something like that. I mean, I don't know if that might be too evil, but
now, I was gonna say it's probably not gonna happen, but it'd be cool if like you had to pick a random rock and the people with a certain color rock gets money in the auction and the rest get nothing.
Oh,
that would be cool.
Yeah, the rest go home.
Yeah,
the rest sit there and watch other people compete. Go out.
That'd be even worse. Yeah, make them watch.
Make them watch. Yeah.
And none of it's nasty food. It's all like steak dinners and burgers
and family and the letters from home and that.
Oh, that'd be so brutal. That'd be fantastic.
Oh man.
Especially if you got someone like Jeremy on the sideline getting screwed, and they're getting letters from his wife, and he's like, "Oh my god," and he's
yeah.
just bawling his eyes out. Oh, that'd be brutal. I'd love it.
That would be brutal.
But I'm a sick.
Oh, you know what? I just thought of a better one. They're not told what they're not told what the reward is at all.
Right.
Right? They pick the rock to compete, and then what they're competing for is the loved one visit.
Oh.
Well, that'd be interesting.
That would be brutal. They chose food over the loved one and not even know it.
Oh, okay. I follow you.
Yeah, that would be brutal.
You can compete or eat, and so then they choose eat or compete, and then the ones that are sitting out are disqualified, and then the winner of the challenge gets the family. Oh man, that'd be.
Yeah, they could be like, all right, now we got your partners for the challenge, and wheel out all the people's loved ones who decided to compete, and then you could imagine the looks on the people's faces eating food. Like, it would probably.
Man.
And can you imagine if they bring all the loved ones out after that, and Jeff's like, all right, so those of you that see your loved member on the bench, they decided that food was more important than family, so you guys need to go back. Just being a total dick about it.
Oh man, I guarantee you people will be hurling chunks. The food they just ate would come right back up.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm choking now. I need to sit up my proper posture before I choke on my beer. Oh my goodness. So we're starting to run out of some questions. Dan, did you take any notes last night?
No, I didn't. This was the one night I forgot to take notes, or I was eating a salad, so I didn't have hands.
Oh, whatever. You and your excuses. I know. I'm trying to run through the feed really quick. And so, I mean, we kind of already touched on this, and this was from Aaron. And you know, he said, if you were in Steven's shoes, would you have gone after Wigglesworth? If not, who would you have gone after? And I think we kind of agreed that, you know, he couldn't go after Joe. It was probably best to go after Wigglesworth. So I think we talked about that and agreed that was probably the best move.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, to break that up. We did get one tweet from @CribsPark. This is at you, Billy. I don't know if you saw this one, and I just kind of chuckled. It just said, "Hey Billy, love to see you in another season with Candace Cody." Smiley face. So.
Well, okay.
That was. I just wanted to throw it out there. He threw it out. I wanted to give it to you.
Oh, thanks. You know what? So long as I'm back, I don't even care if it's her or if it's John or if it's none of the above. As long as I'm back, it doesn't really matter. It could be you guys.
Hey, I'd be down. I've been applying for the last 6 years, so.
All right.
Anything that can get me out there, I'm down.
Sadly, I'm Canadian though, Billy. So you're not.
Yeah.
You know what though? They have a Canadian Amazing Race. They have a Canadian Big Brother. Why don't they have a Canadian Survivor?
I don't know why either. Like, I figure it'd probably be easy enough for them to produce. Easier to produce than the Amazing Race Canada would be, because they go to like China and shit for that. So
right.
You know.
So Dan, while we're on the topic, did you do your audition for Big Brother Canada?
Yeah, I sent my tape in, but I never got a call back. So I'm a little disappointed.
So my question is why haven't we seen this video yet? Why haven't I?
It's just me talking. Like, it's not like I'm like Dylan, who Billy, you met him. You probably
be a total ass for 3 minutes.
Well, no, I don't know if you remember what Dylan said he's gonna do for his podcast, but he wants to go to a park. I don't know, or like go to a crowded area and then dump blood on himself. Like, he bought, like, I'm not even kidding, he showed me the blood on video chat. He bought a bunch of fake blood for this, and he's going to dump it on himself and then look at the camera and say, I'm someone who's not afraid to get blood on their hands. And like, so mine's just me talking into the camera for 3 minutes about like who I am as a person. It's very dull. Probably why I didn't get called back.
It's probably why I haven't either.
Well, here's some insight. Here's some insight from a guy who made it on via the open casting call.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you go to an open casting call, Billy, or did you send in a tape? Okay.
No, I went to an open casting call. They cut the line at 5,000, and of those 5,000 that they allowed in, I was the only one that made it.
Okay.
So this is what they're looking for. They're looking for somebody that can cut a confessional, because that's the bread and butter. That's the bread and butter of all reality competition shows. Without the confessional, you have no idea what's going on. And a confessional is basically you're taking your bullet points of what happened and turning it into a one run-on sentence, and that's your soundbite in your confessional. So you take like your life, the bullet points of your life, and you turn it into a run-on sentence. And if you can execute that, you'll at least get a callback. And then from there, it depends on what they're looking for, and if you match what they have, the idea for the season. But at least you'll get the callback. So my example is, I took the bullet point of course, you always put your name up front because you want people to remember your name so they know who to call back. In my case, since I'm a minority, I put my ethnicity in there. You don't have to if you're not a minority.
And you were on Cook Islands, and they wanted ethnicity.
Yeah, so it worked out. I did not know that was the case, the twist of the season, until after I got out there. But and then of course where you're from is important, and then like three or four things that you do that makes you, like profession, hobby, that sort of thing. And so mine was, I'm Billy Garcia, a Dominican New Yorker, a heavy metal guitar playing, pro wrestling, former Marine. In that one sentence, you got my whole life. And so that means I could do a soundbite, I can do a confessional. And then I told the story, a funny story about one of the things that I did. In my case, I told a story about one of my shows, how somebody threw some underwear up on stage, and it was pretty funny. The main thing they want, like the first 30 seconds, 45 seconds, you have to prove right away that you can cut a confessional. If you cannot cut a confessional, they can't use you.
Right. And I mean, and I've always known, for me, my biggest strength is always speaking. I work in sales, so I literally get paid to talk.
No, I hear you.
I get paid to talk, convince people that what I'm telling.
Well, that's cool. What you need to do is just take that talent, and then take the bullet points of the different aspects of your life, and then turn it into that one.
I think Niko's legging out huge right now.
You know what's terrible about that is that he just got through saying he gets paid to be a talker, and then technology's like, F you, Niko, F you, I'll show you about talking.
It sounds like he's having a stroke over there. Like I hate to joke about having strokes, but
I know I can sell. I can sell myself to a person.
It's still like the audio must be behind because he's going on about selling himself still. His face is frozen there. Niko, are you okay? Paramedics, did the windstorm get you?
Oh, ouch.
Too soon, Billy? Too soon?
It's happening right now.
Yeah. Probably too soon, yeah.
That's probably what's happening that's cutting him out, is that the windstorm is messing with his transmission.
Yeah, because he's using his cell. For everyone who doesn't know, he doesn't have any Wi-Fi. That's how committed he is. He's on his cell phone using his cell reception. So, yeah, I guess Niko's kicked. Oh, he's back.
Well, I don't know what happened. That whole time I thought that Billy was lagging, and so I kept going I'm like, is Billy lagging? And then when you were talking to me, I thought you were talking to him. So the whole time I'm like, where the hell is it? And then all of a sudden I heard you say selling myself. I'm like, wait, what? And then it dropped.
Oh.
Yeah, no, basically your face froze and your speech lagged in and out, but on a delay for a minute. And you just had this real stupid expression on your face. It was pretty. I might have made an inappropriate windstorm joke.
I heard that was the last thing I heard. I heard windstorm, and then it dropped the call. So I don't know what happened. No, the last thing I heard from Billy was I was talking about selling myself and stuff, and then Billy said one word, and then I couldn't hear it, and then it dropped. I couldn't hear him anymore.
Yeah, I was just saying, take that talent and use it in the format that I gave you, where you take the bullet points of your life and just do that one run-on sentence to set up the rest of the video.
Yeah.
The important
Right.
stuff has got to come first, because that's when you have their attention the most, when they first
Right.
pop
The
on the
very
video.
beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't catch their attention right away, they're not going to really pay attention to the last 2 minutes of the video.
I could tell you that they multitask.
Yeah.
They're the ones that make it are the ones that make them stop multitasking for a second,
Right.
For 30 seconds.
So, yeah, I'll probably be working on that because I've been shooting them out about every January. So
Nice.
that's my annual failed Survivor video should be coming into production very soon.
Yeah. So
So,
just keep trying, because wasn't it Leslie, I think it was, that tried like 13 times or some crazy number like that, and she finally made it.
Yeah, from China. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, keep
Yeah.
trying.
So I know I talked to Dan Foley too, because he was talking to me about how he traveled all over the freaking country trying to get on. So I never give up, never surrender, keep hope alive.
There you go.
And, speaking of keep hope alive, I believe I got a tweet just now from Josh saying we need Russell Hantz back on Survivor. Give me a Russell versus Tony versus Rodney season. Oh,
Wow.
that would be too much testosterone on one island. That'd be too many short, muscly, angry guys at one time. And shout out to @GuitarFreak985, Ricky Mana. Just followed us on Twitter. Loves Survivor and rock music. So
Oh, nice.
probably a fan of yours that picked us up over here. So
Nice.
we're borrowing some fans from you.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're getting
cool.
the Billy Garcia bump. There we go. We needed it.
We get the Billy Garcia bump, exactly.
Nice.
So we've pretty much hit most of the main points of the episode. You know, we talked about Jeremy, we talked about Spence, or not really Spencer, we talked about Steven, talked about Kelly a bit, we talked about the girls, talked about Joe. Outside of that, you know, there really wasn't a lot. You know, we saw the reward. You know, I mean, not much to say except, you know, Joe's team just freaking blasted Jeremy's team out of the water.
Right.
Pathetic showing and that challenge for the other tribe. And then, you know, other than that, you know, so I guess the one thing I do want to say is I want to talk about the idol. You know, the idol that Jeremy found. Because, you know, they were talking about, you know, the idols are going to be hitting the challenges this season. So he finds this clue and it just says, hey, we're going to literally hang a freaking light above this thing and, you know, just hand it to you.
Yeah, the whole thing was that he had to do it at nighttime. He had to leave camp and do it inconspicuous and go find it. I would have preferred if it was like hidden at the bottom of a barrel of like colored water, so that he had to dip himself in the colored water and then come back to camp and explain to everybody why he's like blue. that would have been more interesting. Like that would have had the, you know, because his excuse was, I'm gonna go take a dump, and everybody's like, yeah, okay, go. So
and he comes back looking like a Smurf.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been better. Like
when you rob an ATM machine and they got that the ink pouch and the money bag. Yeah, they got to money bag them.
Yeah, that's totally. Or you know, maybe he could have thought of something. He could have like snapped a twig or whatever.
Yeah.
And try to fish for it, and you know, all sorts of stuff could have happened. But just to hang it there and say, all right, here it is. You know, that's laziness on the part of production, in my opinion.
Well, it would have been great if they had done that too, because at night I don't think he would have seen the dye and noticed it until he woke up in the morning. So he'd kind of have to cook it up on the go.
Exactly.
When he saw it,
wakes up when he's all blue, and they're like, Jeremy, you feeling all right?
That's a kind of a simple idea though. Just like put it in the bottom of a tub of dye. And kind of like let them argue out of that one. That's a great idea, Billy. I really like that.
Thanks.
I mean, can you just imagine like Jeremy when he goes over for confessional and he's like, "You fucking assholes! Like, what the hell?"
Well, he got an idol out of it, so he can't be
how pissed he is.
He can't be
Oh
too
my
upset. He
gosh,
got an
that'd be
island out of the deal. He just
But now just
wouldn't pay.
everyone knows that he's got something happened.
Something happened. He's got to think of something. He's got to make something up. It'd have been interesting.
We got a tweet from Josh saying, "Would love to see JT be Steven's loved one." Said he was trying to get that approved. Yeah, I was wondering what they do for loved ones because all the people who played before. We got several blood versus water players. Because Kelly has her dad.
Right.
Sierra has her mom. Jeremy has his wife. I mean, I doubt Val would be out there because she's pregnant, but I'm assuming that the loved ones they'll send out, like we'll probably see like Kelly's mom or her brother. We'll probably see like Sierra's husband or her dad or something. I doubt they're gonna probably bring the actual Survivor players out.
Okay, well, why can't you just fish for the best like athlete in your family and call that your loved one? It's technically still your family.
Right. I know. I always thought about that. Like when I was like applying and stuff, and I'm like, all right, I go like talk to my cousin who's like the most athletic person else, and I'm like, hey, if I ever get on Survivor, you're coming as my loved one because you're the only one that'll do it. You need to do their challenge because the rest of my family is unathletic as hell.
Yeah, see, I got a minor league baseball player who's a cousin, so I would have been like a former minor league baseball player. So I'd have been like, okay, he's a cousin, he's loved one. I have another. I have another one that does martial arts. He's a cousin. He's a loved one. So yeah, for sure.
So that'll be interesting though. I would think they'd do the loved one visit. Did we get loved one visit in Heroes versus Villains? I'm trying to remember now. It's been forever since I watched it.
Can't remember.
Yeah, drawing a blank.
I think they did. I think I remember Jerry's sister. Oh yeah, they did because like you got Colby yelling at his brother, and never mind. They did do it. Now I remember it now. It's been a while since I watched Heroes vs. Villains, so I guess they have done it in both the All-Star seasons because they did like the food eating challenge in All-Stars where they had to make the loved ones eat all the nasty food.
That's the best part.
And Bucky Bo won.
See, that's what they need to do. That's what they need to do this season. Make the loved ones get dirty. Make them jump into the mud and do the dirty stuff.
Compete.
Yeah. Where the survivors just have to sit there and watch the loved ones be the survivors.
So yeah, for sure. I know that. I always love it when they bring the loved ones in for like, not so much for an immunity challenge, but for like a reward.
Reward, yeah, for sure.
So because I remember if you go back to like Vanuatu. And they had that challenge where they had the loved one helping. And Chris's now wife, she's like freaking out and stressed out because it's like, I'm gonna go home if we lose. And, she's got all that pressure on her.
Right.
So that I want to see it in an immunity challenge, but I'd love to see him in an award. I think that's like the best fit for it.
Yeah, a reward, and then the reward be something really big, like let's say $25,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would up the stakes towards. It is, because
that'd be kind of like a Big Brother kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, back in the early Survivors, they had like a car challenge and they had money challenge.
Right. Yeah, they used to do the cars and stuff.
Yeah. So I would say the whole spend the day with your loved one. People tend to give up their loved one to let everybody else have theirs. So that's kind of old and tried out. So I would say put money in the line.
Voted out.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, hey, they're gonna get the sympathy vote. Let's vote them out now. Thanks for the loved one. Enjoy Pontiac.
I would say put money in the line, even if it's $10,000. It's $10,000. The winning loved one wins $10,000 for their survivor, or they both get $10,000. The loved one and the survivor get $10,000.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do one more question, unless I get another good one, and then we'll start wrapping this thing up.
All right.
So the question I got, it's another one from Josh. Josh has been dumping questions on us all night.
Hey, Josh.
We got a dedicated fan. We brought him on the show a few weeks ago.
Nice.
So that was fun. So Josh's question was, what celebrities do you think would be perfect for Survivor?
Ken Shamrock.
Ken Shamrock.
That dude is a hothead. He would be another John Rocker. perfect for Survivor.
I know. I'm trying to think of someone.
Ken Shamrock would be awesome. Get Ken Shamrock and Tito Ortiz, and you got the greatest season of Survivor. Or like they did something like this in Survivor South Africa, where they had a regular season of Survivor, but they brought 2 celebrities in, and they didn't play, but they like coached the teams and they lived there, and then they just like watched the game unfold, and then they could do challenges against each other. That would be awesome for Tito and Ken Shamrock. Like, anyone who saw them on top.
Yeah. Ken Shamrock would probably be my number 1 choice. I guess if I had to go number 2, I always think of like the people who would like need the extra money or need the exposure.
Right. It'd be like third level.
Yeah,
like third level. It'd be like the what was that show? I'm a reality star, get me out of here, whatever that was. Like Sanjaya and these nobody guys that haven't been famous for like 10 years.
Yeah, well, they're like they could use the boost. Let's put it that way, but they wouldn't make it onto like Dancing with the Stars or whatever because they don't have the dancing talent or the coordination or something. So I would say like someone like a John Leguizamo. Everybody knows who that is, but he hasn't exactly been tearing it up at the box office lately. So he would be like a perfect guy to put on there.
I love The Pest. Classic movie.
Yeah, he went on The Happening, and then his career wasn't happening anymore.
Right.
That movie was terrible. Terrible movie.
Yeah, well.
M. Night Shyamalan, where'd you go? Where'd you go wrong?
Yeah, well. We could do a whole podcast on M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah,
I love Unbreakable. Unbreakable's a good flick.
Yeah, I love Unbreakable. I love The Sixth Sense. I even didn't hate The Village. Like I know some people didn't like The Village. I liked it.
The Village twist pissed me off. But the one that really pissed me off was the whole alien thing at the very end.
Signs.
Signs, yeah.
That one was good up until the end. But like Lady in the Water was garbage. The Happening was garbage. Devil. Did you see Devil, the one where they're in the elevator?
No, I gave up at that point.
That one was all right. I didn't hate that one. That one was actually decent. I know he had another one come out. I mean, he ruined Avatar.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the one celebrity
that was a career killer actually.
Yeah. But the one celebrity I was thinking of that just because he's been in the news recently that. He's huge and he's so crazy that he might actually do it. Oh, it's Charlie Sheen.
But the dude won't pass physical because he's got the HIV.
Because he has HIV, I know.
Yeah, he won't pass physical.
I mean, I can imagine they'd probably just be like giving him his drugs on the side.
You can't have a contagious disease and make it on Survivor.
That's true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he won't make it past that stage of the process.
But without HIV, I'm just trying to like imagine Charlie Sheen, like 3 years ago when he's freaking drinking tiger blood and snorting cocaine lines off of everying.
Give me
that dude
I would say
probably gets eaten by a wild animal.
Yeah. See, you need to have that guy that everybody knows who there is, but they may not know their name.
Yeah.
Like the guy who played Bruce Leroy in The Last Dragon. Everybody knows who he is, but nobody knows who his name is. So when you put his face on the screen, they're like, "Oh, him!
That guy!"
Yeah. Like Survivor could afford that guy.
Right. Yeah.
Or that girl.
You're not gonna get. I mean, I know I've seen some celebrities. Like I know Jimmy Fallon said he's a big Survivor fan.
Right.
Neil Patrick Harris said he's a big Survivor fan. Those are the only two I can think of off the top. But there's been some big, big name celebrities.
Yeah, the girl who used to play Blossom, who's now on that Geek Show. I forget the name of the Geek Show.
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory. Yeah, she used to play Blossom. She came out to a.
Yeah, Miriam, the guy that plays Amy Farrah Fowler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. She came out to one of the finales, and I actually met her there. So she's a big fan.
So I mean, there's definitely some Survivor celebrity fans. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. I know people have talked about wanting it to happen. I mean, I think if they did, it'd be like a 3-day charity event or something.
Yeah, you know what? I think you could always get the one celebrity here and there, but I don't think there'll ever be a complete season. Like that, they had success with. Like Jeff Kent, you can call him a celebrity. He's a former New York Met, New York Dodger, and a Los Angeles Dodger.
And the Giants.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the athlete celebrities, because Cliff Robertson was a big NBA guy. John Rocker was a huge MLB player. Yeah. Before he tanked his career.
Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah. So. Yeah, the one celebrity here and there you'll get, and even if you go beyond sports, I mentioned a couple Kid Shamrock will probably he'll do things for money. He'll just do whatever.
Yeah.
Former pro wrestlers like Hulk Hogan is on the rocks right now. Now's the time.
Hulk Hogan would do that. Hulk Hogan would do that.
Oh my gosh, Hulk Hogan, that'd be ridiculous.
I think I hate to say it, but I think wrestlers and fighters are like the prostitutes of the entertainment industry, and they'll do whatever they need to at the end of their careers to keep the money train going. Because
I agree.
Think of it, your body, your money comes from your body, and Hulk Hogan's not making any money off of that thing anymore. So,
and eventually the steroids are gonna destroy your body. So you gotta.
Yeah.
Get the money while you can before your body falls apart.
In wrestling, at least, it is,
Yeah.
And probably Ken Shamrock's case, too. I don't know.
Yeah, or Chuck Liddell, the Iceman. He's another big name from the MMA.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, Ronda Rousey, she's done now. She lost. She's done now. Bring her on Survivor. She's a nobody now.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but she. Since you brought her up, she's probably going to take the rest of the year off and then come back with a different coach who won't tell her to punch with a boxer. Someone who will be smart enough to say, do judo against a boxer.
She got 6 months.
How many take
for injuries?
Yeah. She got a 6 months injury suspension.
Yeah.
Well, how many times did she shoot in that fight? I watched a little bit of it. I couldn't find a proper video.
She got her down once and went for the armbar. Holmes slipped out of the armbar. Yeah, home slipped out of the armbar.
Yeah.
But then after that, she only went for one more shoot.
Okay.
And it was a very sloppy shoot because she had already been punched around at that point. And she ended up being the one on the bottom when she went for that shoot. But it's like her coach was telling her you're doing great, you need to set up the jab and blah. And I'm like, what the hell? Who the hell is this moron? She's an Olympic medalist in judo. Do judo.
And she's fighting a world boxing champion, arguably one of the greatest women boxers to compete in the last 20 years. And you're
ever.
Why are you not putting this woman on her back for the entire fight? That's what I was wondering.
Or up against the fence at least, where you can just knee her thighs and elbow her face. Do stuff that you don't do in boxing against a boxer. That makes sense. Don't do boxing against a boxer.
If you want to compare it to a Survivor strategy, though, I think Ronda Rousey never had that wait and pray mentality in her. She's so guns blazing and so confident, right? And you see it in Survivor, if you're so confident in yourself, that's usually when you get clipped and you kind of think you can do things that you shouldn't be doing with other people, like boxing with a boxing champion.
Or if you're Ozzy and you're trying to strategize. And
so
specific,
the same thing. You see it and she should have just stuck to what you know. Stick to what you know is probably the best way to put that.
Yeah. Take the fight where you're the best, and they're not the best. Don't do the other way around. Yeah, I think because John Jones got away with it against Daniel Cormier, where he wrestled the wrestler. Now I think everybody's trying to do that. Well, okay, John Jones
to prove,
John Jones is one of a kind, and then even then. He made sure he set it up with things that before he wrestled the wrestler. He made sure that
I saw John Jones fight Gustafsson in the ACC here. That was a great fight. If we're talking UFC right now, so yeah, John Jones like in person, like a monster. You know, like I'm a big guy, but like he's like a huge guy. He's probably walking like 240. I saw him probably like 100 meters away, and like you could just pick him out. And he's only a light heavyweight.
He cuts down, a lot.
Yeah,
he's huge. He's a monster.
For sure.
Since we're talking about Ken Shamrock,
sure.
before we cut this thing, let me just
Nico's just sitting there like, what the fuck has happened?
Ken Shamrock is going to fight Hoist Gracie for the 3rd time at Bellator in February.
No,
which is awesome. Which is awesome.
My God.
I'm ready to jump in the screen.
Someone's dying.
Yeah, so
I think he's going to fight medically cleared. Hoist Gracie's got to be like 58.
No, he's in his 40s too, but...
is he still in the 40s?
Yeah, he's still in his 40s, but yeah.
Who are you picking, Billy? Who's winning that fight?
I'm picking Hoist Gracie via triangle choke.
Yeah? I don't... You know what? Yeah, I got to go with Hoist too. I don't know. Ken, like, I haven't seen... Has Ken fought recently in a while?
Yeah,
like...
he fought Kimbo Slice. He had him on the ground with a rear naked choke, and he tried to muscle the choke. And Kimbo Slice has got a head like the size of a cantaloupe.
Yeah.
Like, it's huge. So he couldn't get his arm behind the neck to get the rear naked choke. And eventually his arms gassed out. And when he let go, Kimbo got up and knocked him out.
Oh, fuck, eh?
Yeah. That was awesome in Bellator.
I'm not following. I used to be so into MMA, and now I'm kind of out of it. So I'm not following the fringe like Bellator as much as I used to be. Like I used to love Pride. I was a huge Pride guy.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a time way back in the day when I first got off Survivor, where there was a bunch of us survivors that did martial arts. Like Boo has a 7-0 record in MMA, and Ken Stafford has an amateur boxing record.
Okay.
And, there was a bunch of us that were talking about putting together one of these tournaments and just fighting for money. Like I have a reality MMA tournament.
That'd be so badass. Yeah, that'd be so badass.
Yeah. So I have a black belt in judo and karate, and so I was like, yeah, count me in. And I'm also a silver medalist in Greco-Roman wrestling at the national championships in '97. So, I was like, yeah, count me in. I'll totally do it. But then it never materialized. Like we never got the sponsors to make it happen.
Yeah. That'd been cool.
No one wanted to see you put on your old Greco-Roman tights, eh? And get in the ring.
I'd have probably fought in a judo gi or a jiu-jitsu gi.
Yeah, okay.
Like the old school Hoist Gracie. I'd probably fought in a gi. Yeah. And the point is that I'm just really good at those kinds of chokes with the gi. So I'd have
the gi chokes. Okay.
Yeah. So that'd have been my strategy every fight.
Every fight. Yeah, I definitely would have paid to watch Survivor contestants literally beat the crap out of each other. Especially if you get a couple rivals in there to just hate each other.
Oh yeah. I would have loved.
You got a women's division. You set up some cat fights.
That'd be.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's HBO gold.
Well, remember, Poverty was a boxer before she did.
I know. That was exactly what was running in my head.
Yeah. And Michelle Yee's a kickboxer, so that would have been your matchup right there. Michelle Yee versus Poverty in an MMA fight. Who would you take? Oh, that's a toughie.
I wish Dylan was here for that conversation.
Yeah, Dylan would probably give you like the answer you did not want.
Dylan's probably putting him in white T-shirts in a mud pool, and
he's rapping.
A tub full of jello. Yeah.
He's in the middle rapping.
Yeah. You ever seen Stripes when John Candy gets like pulled into that tub of jello with the two wrestlers? Two female wrestlers, it'd be exactly like the movie Stripes. So
did you ever see Old School when the old geezer was supposed to referee the jello fight between two girls?
Yeah, same thing.
Blue.
Yeah. My boy Blue.
That would probably be the more accurate portrayal. That would have fallen out. All right, let's try to ring this back in.
All right.
Mostly just because my phone battery's starting to drain. I don't have a charger near me.
All right.
So no, but this has been fun. This has been fun for sure. So really quick, let's just do real quick predictions for next week. So we got a double boot episode next week. 2 hours of Survivor. I'm freaking stoked.
Nice.
And recap show. Right now it's scheduled for Thanksgiving. I know, Dan, for you, you're in Canada, so you won't be celebrating real Thanksgiving.
My Thanksgiving was months ago. Like, I don't even remember my Thanksgiving. Halloween was my last holiday I celebrated.
So we haven't decided if we're gonna do the show Thursday or Friday. We might push it back to Friday. We'll see. We might even be able to do a Wednesday night show if we can get people together, because I won't have to work Thursday. So we might even be able to make that happen. We'll talk about that. I'll talk to you, Dylan, about that later.
That's when you know we've made it. When we're doing the live after the show.
The
recap.
The recaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Know-it-alls. Watch out.
Yeah, we're going head to head with the know-it-all. Maybe we shouldn't do that. That was that was WCW's problem in the Monday Night Wars, Nico.
I know. We'd probably lose all 3 of our fans.
Yeah.
But so we'll let you know about next week's show. Are you guys, Dan? Are you and Dylan? Are you guys gonna do your power rankings on Sunday again?
No, the power rankings Tuesday. This week will be actually on Monday.
Oh, Monday. Would you guys quit fucking doing this?
Yeah, it's probably going to be rotating around, so we'll let you know, but it will be on Monday next week. I'm not sure. I don't remember the time. Ask Dylan. Okay. He'll know, because I forget everything.
We'll tweet it out to you guys. We'll give you guys a heads up. Basically, you guys can tune in on Monday and figure out Dylan will pick to go home this week, and we can know that they will be safe.
Yep.
So he's pretty much gotten every power rankings wrong this week, this season so far. Dan, it's been a bloodbath. Dan's smoking him.
Yeah, like this week we both had Wigglesworth ranked pretty high. Like I had her 5th, and Dylan had her 3rd, but every time, even when stuff like that happens, I'm always a couple places better off than Dylan, it seems. I think the only boot he got me, I don't even remember the one episode he won. Maybe it was such
a rare happening. I think we just kind of forgot about it.
No, I'm like the new Ronda Rousey of these power rankings before she got knocked the fuck out. So there you go, guys.
All right.
We'll see. Maybe next season I'll jump into the power rankings with you guys and try to give you a little competition since Dylan hasn't stepped up and delivered. So let's do some predictions for next week. Dan, 2 hours of Survivor next week, 2 boots. Let's get an early prediction from you.
I think we're gonna see one of the witches coven go home in the first episode. Probably Wentworth if I got to put money on it, and then I'm with Billy Joe's going in the second episode. I think.
All right. Billy, you thinking on the same lines?
I'm thinking Kimmy and Joe.
Kimmy and Joe, that's right.
Yeah, I think Kimmy's name came up this past episode to set up the next episode. So I think Kimmy's going, and then I think Joe's can't win them all, can't win every immunity. Nobody's ever done it. I don't think anybody ever will.
And I was kind of leaning. I kind of said earlier, I think one of the witches will go, and then Joe probably. I was agreeing with Josh, but just to mix it up a little bit, I'll throw it in a different prediction. I'm gonna say, I think one of the witches goes, and then I think maybe Steven goes home in the back half.
Ooh.
Oh, that would suck.
It's a little bit of a Steven blindside.
I love Steven. No.
We'll see. Twist my invisible mustache. So, no, I'm excited, too. I'm excited for a couple hours of Survivor. I love the 2 hours, especially not having to work on Thursday. I don't have to worry about going to bed.
Ah, nice.
So, should be fun. I know I sound old. I'm 23. I'm talking about going to bed at 9 o'clock. Sad. It's a sad life I live.
Ah.
But not really. Not really. My wife would kill me if she heard me say that. So she's too sick and stuffed up right now to hear me. But all right. So yeah, let's wrap this up. Hey Billy, thanks for coming on again. We had a blast with you the first show. So I'm glad you came back again. I'm glad we got to hear from you again.
Thank you.
Definitely had a lot of fun with you. I love that you're having fun with us, and you're always fun to have on the show.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to be on. For all you Twitter fans, check out my band at Forsaken, spelled with 2 Ks, _metal.
For sure. And it's at Real Billy Garcia if you're not already following him. He's got about 700 million followers. If you're not following him, get on that. Get on that. You're missing out. And really quick, Billy, so when you were on here, what was it, week 3, you called a Jeremy winner. Do you want to stick with that, or do you want to shift it up? You want to change it up?
Well, my final 3 is definitely Jeremy, Fishback, and Spencer.
Okay.
Jeremy's looking good, so you know what? I'm going to stick with Jeremy. But
Stick with it.
I'm going to stick with it, but it wouldn't surprise me if Spencer becomes the Natalie White of this season.
Universally hated, and
Natalie
fundamental
won.
flaw in the game.
Yeah, Natalie won without doing a whole lot to win. Spencer is just that likable. I don't think he has to do a whole lot to win. Just show up. But,
I would say Natalie just had to not be Russell Hantz, and that's how she got
exactly.
the win.
Yeah.
That's a great strategy in any Russell Hantz's. So, otherwise, yeah, so like I said, follow us on Twitter at IslandTalkWNH. You can follow Billy at Real Billy Garcia. You can follow Dan on his account at DanBall44. And you can follow me on my personal account at The Wisdom Pickle. And otherwise, we'll see you guys on Monday for the Power Rankings. If it's a later show, I might be able to sneak in for a little bit and harass Dan and Dylan. Otherwise, it'll just be down that, and then we will see you guys Wednesday or Friday show for next week's 2. So just Josh throwing shade, Power Rankings.
Yeah. We're laughing because you're lagging out. You're lagging out again.
Getting some heat from the fans. Oh, good lord. Yeah, we need you guys, everyone that came in. Appreciate it, and we'll see you all next week. See you later, guys.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Deuces.
Deuces.
Damn you.
I know you got so mad at Ben the other night when he said deuces, so.
Are we off?
Oh, shit.